It's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking rapid fire NFL picks. We're going to go down the line and give you a bunch of picks on a bunch of games, and hopefully we can win you some money. We've got Craig Trapp joining us. We've got a promo code for you guys. It's October if you want 15% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Let's start with the Eagles and the Steelers. The Steelers favored -7. The total is 44. Craig, what's the play?
Well, this one's a little worrisome here if you're a Steelers fan because you had everything rolling and that offense was starting to hit on all cylinders. Then you get the late cancellation of the Titans game and you get the bye week unexpectedly. I think this is a problem for Pittsburgh. I think you have to take the Eagles finally figured it out in prime time, nevertheless, at San Francisco. I think you take the Eagles in the Battle of Pennsylvania. You take the 7 points here. I also think this under is getting a lot of steam, but I like the under. Drop 3.5 points to that 44 number.
Well, I'm going on the opposite end. I'm taking the Steelers here. Yeah, Carson Wentz was able to run all over that banged up Niners defense, but I don't see that happening against the Steelers defense. It's one of the best in the league. And the Steelers don't have Nick Mullins at quarterback, which
Yeah,
if you're the
big
Niners,
difference.
that was a disaster. So I'm taking the Steelers defense in this one. And plus, they had extra time to prepare. I'm going to take it that way and taking the Steelers -7. Moving on to the Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens favored -13. The total is 51. The Ravens have won the last three in a row. But Cincinnati has covered in 2 of the last 3 meetings. Craig, where are you leaning on this one?
Well, the Bengals have been surprisingly good this year against the spread, 3-1 against the spread, and really, if they don't get that, the tie, they're 1-2-1. If they don't get that tie at Philly, I mean, you'd be looking at 2-2 here, and a lot of people I think would be talking more about Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's been great. Also, Lamar Jackson banged up, missed practice on Wednesday, so I think the Bengals lose, but I do think they keep it within the big number here. I like the Bengals getting that 13 points.
Yeah, I usually like divisional dogs, especially in this case when they're laying close to 2 touchdowns. And as you mentioned, Joe Burrow has at least been able to move the chains when it comes to this Bengals offense. And in the process, he is undefeated against the spread. 3 wins and a push. I like that trend to continue here. And speaking of trends, Bengals 4-1 against the number in their last 5 against the Ravens, and the Bengals are 5-1 against the number in Baltimore. Moving on to the Jags and the Texans. Texans favored -6.5. The total is 54. Obviously, the Texans just fired their head coach. It's not been a good year. They're 0-4, both straight up and against the spread. So, Craig, who do you like in this one?
It's weird. The line went down to 6, and then they fired their coach. And the line went back to 6.5. I don't know. Maybe people see it as a positive. Now that rumors come out that they had a big blow up with J.J. Watt and O'Brien before last week's game, and so that really divided the team. So maybe this is a rallying cry for this team, but there's just something wrong with Houston, and I'm going to take the points with Jacksonville. At least we've seen Minshew be able to move the ball. He moved the ball up and down the field against Cincinnati. They just didn't score touchdowns, and I think they'll do plenty against a banged-up Houston defense here that's given up a lot of points this year. I'm going to take the Jaguars plus the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm jumping on that wagon as well with the Jags getting almost a touchdown here. How do you back the Texans? I don't get it. They're in chaos. Deshaun Watson has been sacked the most times in the entire NFL. I think he's a good quarterback, but it's hard to play well when you're on your back. Granted, the Jags defense is nothing to write home about, but I do like them at least getting points. Broncos Patriots. The Patriots favored -11. The total is 47. Excuse me, this one's off the board actually because there's been a lot of moving parts when it comes to these quarterbacks. Drew Lock not certain to start for the Broncos, and then Cam Newton. I'm not sure if he's going to start, and obviously that is a big question mark because we either get Brian Hoyer or Jarrett Stidham, 2 options that are not great. So any leanings on this one?
Well, if Cam Newton plays, which I think the line suggests that he would, because we saw the line, it opened at 10, went down to 8 when a lot of people thought he wasn't going to play. And then now it's back to 11, and it looks like he will. If everything stays as is, he'll get a chance to start this week. And if that's the case, I like New England here minus the 11. It might even go up to 12, 12.5, maybe even 13 if he does get the start and it's announced, say Saturday. But New England offense is just a different bird when he's there. His ability to run the ball, and I think New England with the great defense that they continue to improve as the season goes on. I like New England minus the points here against a Denver team that, yes, they won, but it was against the Jets.
I don't think I'm going to play this one until I know that Cam Newton is starting for a fact because I don't trust those other quarterbacks. Moving on to the Sunday night game, Vikings at Seahawks. Minnesota is 1-3 on the year. Seattle 4-0, and Seattle also favored at home -7. Total is 57.5. What a total! Craig, what's the play here?
Can you imagine a couple years ago seeing any Pete Carroll defense giving up as many points as they have? And really, Miami moved up and down the field, missed some field goals, had got stopped in the red zone several times. So they had a lot of points left on the field, let's just say. So when you see that 57.5, it's ridiculously high, even if you don't have good coaching genes at defense. But Pete Carroll is a great coach. And Mike Zimmer is known for his defense, the head coach of the Vikings as well. So to me, I think you have to take the under in this one at 57.5. And I'm also going to take Seattle. Heck, they're 4-0 against the spread. I'm going to continue to ride them until they buck me. But my better play is going to be on the under 57.5. I think the defense is finally show up just a little bit, slow down, and man, this is ridiculously high for the Sunday night game.
Right. For me, I say don't overthink it. I'm taking the Seahawks. Russell Wilson playing out of his mind. This game is in prime time at home for Seattle. Yeah, they don't have a great defense this year, but they've still covered in every single game this season. Let's go Hawks. I'm taking Seattle -7. That's going to do it for our NFL rapid fire picks on Picks and Parlays. Good stuff from Craig Trapp. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck to everyone betting this weekend.